Madam Chair. In last month's winter storm, we had more than 4.5 million Texans that didn't have power during one of the coldest weeks, really, in our state's history. We are obviously blessed in Texas with a lot of natural resources, but what we saw can happen when proper steps aren't taken to prepare. And so I want to start off and asking questions to my former colleague and dear friend, the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner. When we served together in the legislature, this area was Sylvester's wheelhouse. Like he knew the area of power probably more than any other legislator that I served with. And because you're known in this area, and we know the report from FERC and NERC that detailed the need for action following the 2011 outages went largely ignored. In your opinion, Mayor Turner, did the PUC do enough to address these issues with the information that they had?
And the direct answer, Councilman Veasey, is no. And these issues were discussed in 2011 and 2012 and subsequent years. So the answer is no.
What do you think the legislature needs to do this session to prevent this from happening again? As you know, we're getting closer and closer to sine die. It's going to be the end of May before we know it. What do they need to do more than anything else to prevent this from happening again?
I think one, there needs to be a full acknowledgement that climate change is real. And once you acknowledge it, then you build it into your strategies. Number two, we can no longer rely just on a market incentive system. There will have to be requirements to weatherize our system. That's a must. And if we're going to continue to be a closed grid, ERCOT, 90% covering the state of Texas, then we have to take every necessary steps to make sure that there's adequate energy supply in peak demands.
Yeah, no, Mayor Turner, thank you very much. We know it's possible to maintain reliability in much more extreme weather conditions, but unfortunately, no fuel source was perfect during the storm. In the coming months, we're going to learn more about unweatherized wind turbines, unweatherized thermal power plants, or frozen pipes. One thing that we do know had a significant impact was the inability to produce natural gas from frozen wellheads and a loss of electricity at production and process and infrastructure. After similar blackouts in 2011, 2014, 2018, federal investigators said that freezing of natural gas pipelines and compressor stations was one of the causes for the blackout. The Railroad Commission has failed to take action on that. We also know that many natural gas producers and processors failed to file the necessary paperwork with the electric utility to be listed as critical infrastructure. That meant that when we had rolling blackouts and when they were initiated, these natural gas companies didn't have the electricity necessary to pull gas from underground, which in turn led to a natural gas shortage of power plants and created a downward spiral of more blackouts. Right now, it's optional for these companies to file this paperwork. But Charlie Guerin, also from Fort Worth, he has a bill, Commissioner Craddock, that he is going to file that will answer some of these concerns that I just laid out. And I want to ask you, Commissioner Craddock, should these energy producers, who we all know are critical to keeping the lights on, so we won't have a repeat of what we saw, should they be required to file this paperwork? And should it be included on the electric utilities critical list?
I think it's an important piece that, frankly, my agency hadn't been communicated from ERCOT that this existed. But two, if you look at for these forms, and the time when we finally realized this form existed, because it was based on summertime, not wintertime. But when we realized that, we've now sent it from our agency, sent a letter to every single operator that we regulate, suggesting that they file this form.
But you don't think it should be required?
The challenge we still have, though, is ERCOT today doesn't prioritize gas fields. It's only gas processing plants forward. So we'd like to encourage ERCOT to remap the system and understand that the whole system needs to be included, not just part, because we had operators who told us they would have been happy to file the form had, one, they known about it, and two, had they been included in the form, and they were not.
And see, and Madam Chair, as I yield back my time as it has expired, that's the problem, is that we are literally going to get to the end of May and the Texas legislative session will have begun, and Republicans just want this problem to go away. They don't want to deal with this. They don't want to require anybody to have to do anything, which means we're going to be sitting in the cold again. And that is the problem. They are running out the clock. They are literally running out the clock as I am 40 seconds over my time. Madam Chair, I give you back the gavel. Thank you so much.
I thank the gentleman and our other members from Texas for helping illuminate this. And I hope that this